Time on the clock is 10:00. Side boys. Post.
Side boys, attention. Cover. 2. Sidestep, march. Left, right, face.
Will the guests please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the parading of the colors, the playing of the national anthem, and the invocation. Military guests, cover. 2. Chief Petty Officer, United States Navy, arriving. Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, arriving. Captain, United States Navy, arriving.
Side boys, left, right, face.
Color Guard, parade the colors.
Forward. Off. Left turn, march. Detail, off.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Gail Alonzo will now play the national anthem.
Present, off.
Color Guard, retire the colors.
Carry, on. Ready, 2. Mark time, mark. Right turn, mark. Forward, mark. Details, off.
Captain Sheldon will now deliver the invocation.
Would you pray with me? Almighty and ever-living God, we come before you this day to give you our heartfelt thanks and praise. You are the author and giver of life, and it is ultimately to you alone that we must one day give an account for our lives. You tell us in your word, O Lord, that promotion, advancement, this commissioning is a gift from you, that you put down and that you raise up. We have learned sometimes through adversity and hardship that the mantle of leadership is at times a heavy burden to bear, but that it is also at its heart a very sacred trust. Today, Heavenly Father, you entrust this gift, this burden, this sacred trust of a commission to soon-to-be Ensign Asa Calloway, United States Navy. We humbly ask you to grant him the wisdom, courage, and patience to carry out faithfully and well the duties assigned to him. We ask your divine blessing on Brogan, his wife, and on Troy and Enza, their children. Grant them the strength, loyalty, and warmth which every Navy family needs. Finally, O Lord, may we mark this day as one not only of celebration, which it is, but also of remembrance. We remember, with deep affection, those with whom we have served, those who have led us, and those whom we have been privileged to lead. May Asa and each of us remain faithful servants to our nation, to our shipmates, but most of all, faithful servants to you, our God. And all this we ask to the honor and glory of your great name. Amen.
Side boys, post.
Side boys, sidestep, march.
Military guests, uncover. 2. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. First off, can we give a round of applause to that young lady in that Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Tom Jones. You already know who I am, but I am glad that you are here today, and so is the Calloway family. Today, we celebrate honor and tradition. We celebrate a unique individual, and we celebrate a family. And I would like to extend a very special and warm welcome to his family, to his wife Brogan, his children Troy and Enza, his father James, Mother Deanne, Aunt and Uncle Cecil, Kim, and his sister Kelly. Thank you all for being here today. The commissioning ceremony you will witness today is a reflection of our rich heritage in naval tradition. Naval customs and traditions have established this ceremony to be impressive and designed to strengthen the respect for the dedicated service which is vital to our Navy. Now, today's presiding officer is Captain Victor Sheldon. He's a native of Charlotte, North Carolina, and is a graduate of Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He got his divinity degree in theology from Trinity School for Ministry. He's been to the Joint Professional Military Education at the Naval War College and has a master's degree in national security and strategic studies from the Army War College, and is a JPME Phase 2 graduate from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Captain Sheldon's Marine Corps tours include the 4th Marine Air Wing, the 4th Marine Division, 3rd Battalion, 23rd Marines, a combat tour with the 1st Force Service Support Group in OIF 1, and is currently serving with the 4th Marine Division. Now, not being fully Marine, he is Navy, and his Navy assignments include the Military Sea Lift Command, the Naval Submarine Base in Kings Bay, Georgia, and the Joint Task Force Horn of Africa as the Force Chaplain and Director of Religious Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Captain Sheldon for your remarks, sir.
Well, thank you and good morning. Let me just first say that I first met the accused in April. I'm sorry, that's a wrong speech. Sorry. I'm glad so many of you MAs are here because when you do cycle back to the fleet, I pray that you will remember me so that when you pull me over for speeding, some violation on base, you'll see me and you'll say, oh, chaps, it's you again, and I remember you from Millington, so we'll let you off easy this time. So. But at that time, MA3, Asa Calloway, and I met when I was stationed, we were both stationed at submarine base in Kings Bay, Georgia, and I was the deputy command chaplain for the base there, but also was assigned, thankfully, because it was a wonderful tour, to the Marine Corps Security Force Battalion, which is made up of about 500 MAs, most of them new boots, just out of recruiting, just out of boot camp, and then 500 Marines as well. And MA3, Asa Calloway and I, and a group of us, really just connected and spent a lot of time together. And for an older chaplain who wasn't quite broken, but certainly needed to get back in shape, MA3, Asa, and a group of them said, chaps, why don't you work out with us, PT with us, run with us, and they brought me up to speed, where even I was able to run Marine Corps Marathon. I'll never be able to do it again, but I was able to do it at least one time because of them and because of Asa and his encouragement. You're going to hear a lot today about Mustangs, which Asa Calloway is becoming one today. But I want to tell you the actual definition of a Mustang and see if this might fit, if this might correspond with Asa Calloway. The Mustang, of course, it refers to a horse. And a Mustang is actually a feral animal and therefore not a thoroughbred. A Mustang, after being captured, can be tamed and saddle broken, but it always has a bit of a wild streak to it and can periodically revert to its old ways unexpectedly. And therefore, the owner needs to keep an eye on it at all times. However, since a Mustang was formerly a feral and free animal, it may very well be smarter, more capable, and have a better survival instinct than thoroughbreds. I submit to you that that's a great description of Asa Calloway, who is smart and is capable and is gifted beyond measure. But if you've gotten to know Chief Calloway, soon to be Ensign Calloway, you know that one of the great qualities about him is that he's loyal. He's loyal to a fault. And Asa can sometimes, even with me, sometimes get in your face. But that's okay. He can get in your face because you know he's got your back. He's got your back. He is not only a shipmate, but I'm proud and honored to call him a friend. And so it's a delight today to see this occurring in his life, and for Brogan and Troy and Ensa and all that they mean to our Navy family and to me personally. It's a great honor and blessing to be with you. So thank you. Thanks, Asa. Let me introduce to you now Lieutenant Commander Mac McPherson, who's our guest speaker, and he will take it on from there. So,
I've eagerly anticipated this historic day since 2011. Good morning, Skipper, XO, CMC, honored family, friends, shipmates, and distinguished guests. I'm extremely honored to be today's guest speaker. But first and foremost, I would like to applaud Brogan, who is out beating her child right now. Because this day wouldn't be possible without the loyal and dedicated support that she has provided to ASA and our Navy. Thank you. To ASA's parents, Jim and Deanne. Thank you also for your commitment and faithful support, but most importantly, thank you for your outstanding parenting and nurturing of an exceptional son, husband, father, and shipmate. Thank you. This is by far the most exciting and rewarding day of my career. Okay, I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But I don't say I love you to most men other than my son, but I do love this guy very much. I love him to death. I'm feeling overwhelmed with joy right now because this could not have happened to a more deserving shipmate. I apologize for our continuous praise of Asa, but this is a very proud moment for not only Asa, but his loving family, friends, and thousands of personnel he's worked with. Admiral Menager, who relieved Admiral Davidson as the striking commander, was one of many outstanding leaders who have personally invested time in mentoring Asa. I personally would like to thank Admiral Menager, his call sign right now, keep it G-rated, for recognizing the potential in a young MA2. He recently retired, but continued to monitor Asa's career progression. My first opportunity working with Asa was when he checked on board in 2011 during my tour as the Eisenhower Second. Manning on board aircraft carriers has changed since, but during our tour, the billets in security were one Master Chief, one Chief, 15 to 20 MAs, and 170 TAD. Yes, 90% of the folks in security with absolutely no security background. I recognize some old shipmates in the audience, and they may or may not confirm, but the departments rarely send their stellar performance TAD to security. The instructions required a promotable or high evaluation, and we received their bottom promotable sailor. First lieutenant and mentor at the time was Lieutenant Commander Al Ross, AKA Big Al. That's what everybody knew, even the skipper, Big Al. Always reminded me after a few F-bombs, he goes, "Shipmate, I'm giving you an opportunity to excel as a young division officer. So you're going to take that promoted sail and excel with it." "Yes, sir." Thank goodness for the instruction, because I may have gotten his significant problem. During that time frame, security was having some difficulties with qualifications and training. So I asked Chief for a one-stop shop for training, which means he must be small arms qual, he or she, crew serve weapon, or training supervisor instructor qualified. Out of the 20 MAs, Chief Mueller's choice was a young and motivated MA2 Calloway. Great choice, but there's one minor hurdle with that plan. The rank requirement for Trey Suit was an E6 or above, so a rank waiver was required. The rank waiver was submitted to Sensei 4 via our XO, at the time was Commander Deanna. The XO was confused, asking why Ike is endorsing a rank waiver request with 2 MAs on board. I told the XO, one is your LPO, and the other is your command investigator. His response was, "How about the chief?" I stared at him for a few seconds like he was crazy, and responded, "Sir, he's the chief." The XO thought about it then and said, "Hey, Mac, this better not come back and bite me in the rear." I told the XO, "I promise, it won't, and you will not be disappointed with this MA2, at the time Calloway, as your Trey Suit." It took weeks for an approval, because that was the first waiver request the CO's ever seen. Shortly after MA2 Calloway's rank waiver was approved, he was assigned to the training and created Ike's first short and long-term training plan, along with NSF, ISF replacement plan for 200 sailors. MA2 was so impressive, Chief and I decided to increase his responsibilities and have him also submit and brief the weekly training drill packages to the XO. Yes, the same person who endorsed his rank waiver request. Do so, he established an outstanding working relationship with the XO, who is now the CO of ASA's next command, the USS Harriet's Troop. Chief and I didn't stop there. Young, motivated, and hungry MA2 was now also responsible for drafting import security and transient plans during deployment, and the annual revision of the AT plan. I'm not certain if the XO knew that the waiver request he endorsed for young MA2 would be very beneficial for him 6 years later when he took command. I thought about stopping by the Truman and let the captain know that this is a result from you rewarding a young and motivated MA2 Calloway, but he will experience it firsthand in a few months. During my tour at Airland, a second security officer billet, an ASECO billet, was established on the CBN. The premise was to fill a demanding ATO billet and getting the ASECO SWO qualified. I understand the career path may change, and pending the needs of the Navy between now and your promotion to Lieutenant Commander, but our vision was to get that SWO qualified Lieutenant Commander back on a CBN as department head and mentor his or her ASECO. Hopefully the change will prevent you and others from making the same mistake I did, was not getting my SWO qualification. That must be one of your first goals while in the troop. It will be a significant sacrifice in addition to very long working hours, but it will be very rewarding in the future. When you check on board as ASECO, please allow the chief to be the chief. First comment to the chief's mess should never be when I was a chief. Please allow the chief's mess to mentor our sailors and help you grow and excel as an officer. I share that comment with you because Chief Mueller used to ride a young MA2 hard. There were numerous times I wanted to step in and tell Chief to throttle back. It was hard because I didn't want Asa to lose his motivation. So I bit my tongue and allowed Chief to mentor him. It's funny now, but back then, young MA2 did not like Chief at all. They hated each other. Every time I heard the man overboard, I immediately called Chief on the radio. Make sure it wasn't him. Shortly after Asa was promoted to Chief, he realized why Chief Mueller gave him such tough love. So with that said, sitting to my right is a result from past, present, and great mentors of the Chief's Master. So thank you. Asa, you are now a manager, and the Chiefs are supervisors of the Navy's most precious assets, which are your E6 and below. You will hear the term, don't forget where you came from, but we all know you won't. But my request to you is to take a look at those precious assets we just discussed, identify your release early in their career, and follow up on their growth over the next years. We have identified numerous future leaders, and now we challenge you to do the same. It is no longer about Asa, but how you can help your sailors to become the next captain, like Captain Ross, or Master Chief Killinger in our community. You will be an outstanding officer, and there's no doubt if confronted with hard decisions, I am very confident you will choose what's best for our Navy. We all are very proud of you and wish you and your loving wife, Brogan, and beautiful, motivated kids, Troy and Enza, the very best. I would like to take this time to congratulate the Calloway family and welcome you all to the war. Final comment, I would like to discuss the huge pay raises you both will receive.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind word.
Commander's not speaking. Thank
You already know about that pay raise. I'm getting $200 an hour for this gig.
Well, that's where it's all going to.
Sir, thank you for your comments. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Cole will now present Chief Calloway with his End of Tour Award. Ladies and gentlemen, attention to the award. From the Department of the Navy, this is to certify that the Secretary of the Navy has awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal to Chief Master at Arms Surface Warfare Asa Calloway, United States Navy, for meritorious service while serving as the Master at Arms Detailer Leading Chief Petty Officer at Navy Personnel Command in Millington, Tennessee from May of 2014 to November of 2017. Chief Calloway led 6 detailers in the distribution and career growth of more than 10,000 sailors, which optimized Master at Arms operational readiness to 96%. His unsurpassed knowledge of the distribution process resulted in 100% manning of Chief of Naval Operations Priority 1 assignments for Strategic Weapons Facility Atlantic and Pacific. By his noteworthy accomplishments, perseverance, and devotion to duty, Chief Calloway reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Given on this 3rd day of October, signed J.F. Meyer, Rear Admiral, United States Navy, Assistant Commander, Navy Personnel Command. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Chief Levine will now read the Chief Petty Officer, Limited Duty Officer Transition Creed.
You have this day experienced that which comes to many of us who served as a Chief Petty Officer in our Navy. I say our Navy because your departure from the fraternity of the Chief in no way terminates our relationship, our regards, our obligation to the service, and our fellow Chief Petty Officers. The respect that you earned as the Chief was based in the same attributes that you will carry into your leadership role as a naval officer. Have no regrets. We view your commissioning orders not as an end to an era, but as orders to a new challenging assignment. Remember well that you have been and always will be an accepted member of the most exclusive of all maritime fraternities, that of the United States Navy Chief Petty Officer.
Chief Peterson. He will now present Chief Calloway with a parting gift from the Naval Support Activity Mid-South Chief Mess.
That's a manly hug.
Chief Calloway. Keep right there. Master Chief Dillinger.
We wanted to bring in a little bit of a surprise to the ceremony today that Asa didn't know about. From the Chief's Mess in 405, we kind of came together and thought, you know, what would be ideal for Chief Calloway, now going to be Ensign Calloway, as his future endeavors as an officer. So we hope that you take these anchors that were yours, hang them on your office, so when you need them, they're always there for you. In case of emergency, break glass.
Let's do it.
And in honor tradition for the M.A. Puka, we always give our our sailors that are departing. Usually, Asa is the brains behind that operation, because he's probably the most creative one that we got over there. I don't know how that worked out, but he is pretty creative. The MAs came together. We wanted to memorialize your time as a chief, as well as keeping tradition of your time as you'll spend as an officer. So we present this as the MA thing. Hopefully you hang that on your desk as well.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, Commander McPherson, it's time to kick the chief out. Ladies and gentlemen, attention to the discharge. This honorable discharge from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that Chief Master at Arms Surface Warfare Aviation Warfare, Asa Calloway, was honorably discharged from the United States Navy on this first day of November 2017. This certificate is awarded as a testimonial of honest and faithful service. You gotta turn and face the crowd now.
Okay.
Now comes the fun part. Might want to step out just a tad. Master Chief Killinger, Master Chief Mills, Senior Chief Rumbaugh, Master Chief Kaysen, please come forward. They will now remove Chief Calloway's jacket, his shoulder boards, and his cup. Brogan, will you and the children come forward? And Asa's father, will you please join as well? They will assist Asa in donning the ensign shoulder boards and the jacket.